Hello, you guys. My name is Diana Vasquez, and today is our last class. So, welcome. Thank you for joining me one more time. So, before we start with our lesson, let's quickly review the different topics that we have covered this week. So, on Monday, we talked about food. On Tuesday, we talked about travel plans. On Wednesday, we talked about technology. Yesterday, Thursday, we talked about media, more specifically television, and our topic for today is holidays and festivals. So I have chosen 4 of the most important and popular holidays in India. We are going to talk a little bit about what they celebrate, and we are going to, there's no grammar today, so the idea is to cover a vocabulary linked to each of those very, very important celebrations. Okay, so with no more talking, let's get into our lesson for today. One more time, thank you for joining me today. And I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this 5 days, including today, as much as I have. So let's start our lesson. Okay, so again, we have holidays and festivals. Class number 5, and again, my name is Diana Vasquez. So before we start, we have holidays and festivals, that is our topic. And I would like you guys to tell me what you think is the difference between these two words, okay? Holiday, what is a holiday and what is a festival? What's the difference between the two of them, if any? So let me know your answer in the comments. I have to say that I was trying to find like a very clear definition of each of the two, and the definition was kind of a blurred line. Okay, so holiday has to do, of course, with religion, and it's a religion celebration. And festival is just a big celebration with no religious connotation. So that is what we could say. Okay, so a holiday is linked to religion, and a festival is just a big celebration with no supposedly no religious background. But I was telling you when I started talking about this difference that there is kind of a blurred line, okay? Because when I started reading and getting information about the different holidays and festivals that we are going to be discussing today, some of them, even though they were religious, the definition is festival of this and that. And some of the festivals that were said, like the definition says, it is a festival, had a religious background. So that's why I'm saying that it's kind of blurry, that line. So with no further ado, let's start with Diwali. Okay, and of course, I know that I don't have to tell you much about Diwali. You know more about Diwali than I do. But let's start with the definition. Well, not the definition, let's say a brief presentation of Diwali and the importance of Diwali in India. Okay, so for a vocabulary, we have first fireworks. That, of course, I don't have to tell you. Fireworks are a huge thing in many, many celebrations throughout the world, but they are like a key element in the celebration of Diwali. So fireworks are just like artificial lights that you can see in the sky. You know, they have different colors. They even make different shapes. They are made of gunpowder, right? So they have a very characteristic smell. That the only thing that comes to mind for me to explain what they smell like is gunpowder. So it's like metallic, but I'm pretty sure that you are familiar with the smell of fireworks as well. Then we have firecrackers. Firecrackers is fireworks, but these are like set on the ground, and they're like tubes of carton or cardboard, and you just light them up. So let's say that fireworks and firecrackers are elements that are present in, as I said before at the beginning of this vocabulary section, are elements that are present in different celebrations around the world. Okay, but now we are going to start talking about items or elements that are part of this celebration of Diwali. Okay, so this is exclusive, I would dare to say, to the Indian culture. Okay, so the first one is Diyas, and of course these are like little lanterns made of clay, colorful, very pretty. And when I was doing my research, I discovered, or I learned that people light them up and then they send them floating on the Ganges River. Okay, but we have more key elements of this celebration. So we have Rangoli. Okay, that Rangoli is like beautiful designs, as you can see, made from either color powders, like in this case it looks a little bit like chalk. So you have beautiful designs, different types of designs, and these designs can be made from color powders, rice, or sand, and they are placed at the entrance of the different homes with a purpose, and this purpose is to stop evil from entering into people's homes. Okay, so that is the purpose, and I just love like the ritual part of it. Okay, I think it's amazing. It's not only beautiful, but it's like the purpose behind it. Okay, and finally we have a feast. So a feast, this is not exclusive to Indian culture. A feast is just a celebration with lots and lots of food. Okay, so like a big dinner. So a feast is also part of the Diwali celebration. And now let's get into Diwali, what Diwali is, how it is celebrated, so on and so forth. So let's go with the celebration itself. So Diwali. Diwali is the biggest festival of the year in India. Okay, so this is the most important festival of the year in the country. Diwali is a 5-day festival that celebrates the victory of good over evil and light over darkness. Okay, so Diwali is not only one day, it's a 5-day event, 5-day festival. And as I said before, it celebrates the victory of good over evil or light over darkness. And this is why, like, this definition is giving us the importance of lights in the festival, as part of the festival. Okay, so that victory of light over darkness is represented with different elements in the celebration. So being that light is like such an important part of the concept of Diwali and the background of Diwali, people in India need to have lamps, as the Diyas that we saw, candles, fireworks, and firecrackers. Anything that represents light is an important element of Diwali. Okay, so they are, as I said before, they are an important part of celebration, because Diwali is also known by the name of Festival of Lights. And of course, lamps, candles, fireworks, and firecrackers are giving us light. Okay, I need some water, you guys. Okay, so important. Diwali celebrates the return of Lord Rama and his wife Sita to their home in and I don't know, please let me know what the correct pronunciation of this word is. I'm going to say Ayodhya, after Lord Rama and Hanuman, the monkey god, rescued Sita from the 10-headed demon King Ravana. Okay? Diwali, important, is the beginning of the new year in the Hindu calendar, and this is exactly why it is the biggest festival of the year in India, because it is the beginning of a new year in the Hindu calendar. And as I said before, Diwali is a 5-day festival. So what I'm going to talk about very briefly is what happens, what is the main event in each of those 5 days. So on day 1, people clean their homes and they buy gold or silver, new clothes, and new items for their kitchens. That is what they have. That is the main focus of day 1. So people have to clean their homes. The cleaner, the better. And in a second, I'm going to tell you why it's so important that they are like super clean. They buy gold or silver. They buy new clothes and new items for their kitchens. On day 2, people decorate their clean homes. So remember that on day 1, they clean their homes. So on day 2, their homes are already clean. So now what they have to do is that they have to decorate the homes with clay lamps or Diyas. That is what I showed you before. And they create the Rangoli outside of the homes. The Rangoli are those beautiful designs with color powders or with sand or rice that is supposed to stop evil from entering into their homes. Okay? On day 3, this is the main day of the festival. Okay, so families gather and pray to the goddess Lakshmi. They pray to this goddess, and this is why cleaning their homes is so important, and this is why cleaning the home on the first day of Diwali is like the main event. Because Lakshmi is believed, I'm sorry about that, is believed to visit every home on Diwali. Okay, so remember that day 3 is the main event. Day 3 is Diwali. Okay, so on this day, she's visiting every home. And how does she decide which house to visit first? She starts with the cleanest home. Okay, so this is why people in India take so much time and effort cleaning their homes on day 1 of Diwali, because they know that by day 3, Lakshmi is going to come to their homes and visit, and she's going to choose what house to visit first, depending on how clean the house is. Okay, so when she comes to their homes, she brings good luck. And on this day, after Lakshmi is believed to have visited each of the homes, families have a feast. Remember that the feast is like this big gathering with lots and lots of food, and they watch fireworks and firecrackers, because again, light is very important. It is the victory of light over darkness. Then we have on day 4. Day 4 is the first day of the Hindu New Year. Okay, and on this day, people visit family and friends, and they bring gifts. Some of the gifts can be sweets or clothes. And then we have day 5, that is the last day of the celebration. Okay, and on day 5, brothers visit their married sisters. So this is the celebration of Diwali. Remember that Diwali is the most important or the biggest festival in India. It is celebrated over 5 days. Each day has a different focus. So now let's move on to our second festival. Well, so we have Ramsam, that is, if we go back to that definition that I presented at the beginning between a holiday and festival, I would say Ramsam is a holiday and not a festival. So let's start with some of the vocabulary we need to be familiar with to understand the concept, the idea, the holiday of Ramsam. So for vocabulary, we have first Muslim. Okay, so Ramsam is a Muslim celebration or a Muslim holiday. So what is a Muslim? Muslim is the follower, the name that a follower of Islam receives. Okay, then we have Swan. Swan is the fifth pillar of Islam, which refers to fasting during the holy month of Ramsam. Ramsam is a celebration carried out during a whole month, and it is based on the fifth pillar of Islam. So the faith of Islam has 5 pillars. Today we are going to focus on the fifth one, that is the one that is related to Ramsam and why Ramsam is celebrated. Okay, so that fifth pillar is called Swan, and it refers to fasting. And some of you may ask, okay, but what is fasting? So fasting is to eat only a little, okay, or only certain kinds of foods, especially as a religious observance. So Ramsam is a religious observance because it is linked to Islam, that is a religion. Okay, so during Ramsam, but we're going to talk about this more in detail in a second. During Ramsam, people fast. That means that they limit their food intake. Or they limit their food intake to certain times, okay? And during the most part of the day, for a whole month, they don't eat at all, okay? But we're going to talk about this more in detail in just a few seconds. Okay, then we have dawn. That is one of the keywords that we are going to be using in a second. So dawn is the first appearance of daylight in the morning. So it's a moment in the day, and it's the moment when the daylight appears. Okay, so also known as sunrise. Then we have dusk. That is the opposite. So dusk is the period of partial darkness between day and night, also known as twilight. So dawn is when the sun rises, and dusk is right after sunset. Then we have suhoor. Okay, suhoor is the meal consumed early in the morning by Muslims before fasting. Okay, so every day before they start fasting, they have this meal that is called suhoor. And then when they end the fasting on that day, the meal is called iftar. Okay, so iftar is the meal eaten by Muslims after sunset. Then we have the Quran. In English, it's spelled K-O-R-A-N, Quran, okay? And the Quran is the sacred text of Islam, okay? It's their sacred book. All their beliefs come from this book. And it is revered as the word of God. So it is the word of God in the Islam world. Then we have Eid ul-Fitr, okay, and the Eid ul-Fitr is an annual Muslim festival that marks the end of Ramsam. So Ramsam, we already said, that is a celebration carried out during a whole month. And at the end of Ramsam, they have Eid, okay, and Eid involves a gift exchange and a meal. And finally, we have mosque. Okay, and a mosque is the name that the Muslim temple receives. So it's a Muslim temple of public worship. This is a mosque. So now let's go with Ramsam and what it is and how it is celebrated. Okay, so Ramsam is a special time in the Islamic calendar. Islam is the second largest religion in the world. The first largest religion in the world is Christianity or Christians, okay, and then we have Islam or Muslims. So it is the second largest religion in the world. As I said before, those who follow Islam are called Muslims. So Muslims are the followers of Islam. And I already mentioned this as well. There are 5 pillars of Islam. The 5th one is called Swan, and it refers to fasting during the holy month of Ramsam. Ramsam is a month in Islam where people observe fasting from dawn to dusk. Okay, so now it's important. They are not supposed to fast for a whole month, like not eat at all for the whole month. No, they fast every day during that month from dawn to dusk. So from the moment, or to put it even in very simple words, they fast while the sun is out. So the first meal of the day has to be consumed before dawn, okay? And the second and last meal of the day has to be eaten after dusk, so when the sun is gone. So first meal before the sun is out, last meal after sunset, okay? Okay, Muslims have a meal before dawn called suhoor. That is what I was telling you before. And this way they get ready to fast. So before the sun is out, they have suhoor. Okay, and when the sun is gone, so after sunset, they break fasting with a meal called iftar. So suhoor before the sun is out, iftar after sunset. During Ramsam, Muslims also focus on reading the Quran, that again is the sacred text, praying and helping those in need. At the end of Ramsam, so at the end of that month, Muslims celebrate with a big party called Eid ul-Fitr, or simply Eid. On Eid, Muslims go to the mosque and pray in the morning, and after that they eat. Okay, so Eid is the day right after Ramsam. So in the morning they have to go to the mosque and they have to pray, and once they are done praying, they eat. Muslims also use this day to meet relatives and friends who live not that close, like people that you don't get to see on a daily basis. So this is a day to reunite. Okay, and with that, we finish Ramsam, and now we are going to move on to Christmas. So let's go with some vocabulary. So we have first the Christmas tree. Okay, so the Christmas tree in the United States can be artificial, or it can be a real Christmas tree. So there are some farms where they actually grow Christmas trees throughout the year, and when Christmas time comes, they just go, they choose the one they want, they buy it, and they bring it to their homes. They decorate the Christmas tree with lights, with ornaments, with a star on the top. That is the Bethlehem star, the one that is said to have guided the wise men to where Jesus was born. And under the tree, they have presents. Okay, they have different presents. So this is a way in which families exchange presents. Okay, and these presents are opened on December 25th. So Christmas tree, the Christmas tree, I would say, is the most popular decoration for Christmas. Then we have the mistletoe. Okay, so the mistletoe is a plant that they hang in the outdoors or sometimes inside the homes. And finally, we have Christmas decorations. So a big aspect of Christmas is Christmas lights. They are festive, and many families recreate like different scenes with the lights. Okay, so of course, and we are going to talk about this more in detail in a second, but of course Christmas is a Christian celebration, so it has a religion connotation. However, throughout time, other elements have become part of this celebration, other elements that have nothing to do with the religious background of the celebration. So here in the States, a very popular character of Christmas is Santa Claus, or Santa as they call it. So Santa is this man, older man with white hair and a white beard, chubby, that wears this like red suit and this Christmas hat that is red with like the white little pom-pom on the top, and he's a big part, and kids believe that he's the one that brings presents, okay, that he's the one that places the presents under the tree, and that he enters the houses through the chimney. So kids, it is tradition, I would say, a tradition to leave out milk and cookies for Santa. There are many movies about Christmas and Santa Claus. And if you pay attention to that last picture that I have with Christmas decorations, you can see some deers or reindeers. Because it is believed that the reindeer, especially one very famous with the red nose, that is a Rudolph, they are the ones that are like helping Santa get across the world, delivering the presents, like pushing his lie. Okay, and you have a very popular character for Christmas here in the States that is called the Grinch, and is that green character. So there is a movie, well, there is a book first about the Grinch, and based on that book, there are many movies. So I don't know how familiar you are, but let me know, of course, in the comments if you celebrate Christmas, and if you don't celebrate Christmas, if this is something you are familiar with. And of course, not only if you celebrate Christmas, but Ramsam and Diwali. Okay. Now let's go with the concept of Christmas, and I'm gonna try to keep this one very short. Okay, so Christmas. So as I said before, Christmas is a Christian celebration. Okay, so it commemorates the birth of Jesus Christ. The birth of Jesus Christ takes place on December 25th, and this is when Christmas is celebrated. However, I mean, Christmas is supposed to be that one day, but at least in the Western world, like we celebrate Christmas throughout that whole month of December. Okay. Another thing that is important, and is that, as I have mentioned to you before, I live in the States, but I am from Colombia, that is a country in South America. So in South America, in South America, we celebrate Christmas on the 24th, but on the 24th at midnight. Okay, so Christmas is a very it's very familiar. So families gather on this day, they do exchange presents, but all that happens at midnight. So we start earlier during the evening, maybe 8 p.m., and we have a feast. We wait until midnight and we exchange presents. That is how it happens in Latin America. But here in the States, on the 24th, yes, they have a meal, but then they go to sleep. And then on Christmas Day, that is December 25th, they wake up, they get together, they open presents, and they have breakfast. Okay? Well, so this is what I was mentioning before. It is observed primarily on December 25th. And this is why I say primarily, because, as I said before, in South America, we observe it on December 24th. So this is important. Let me know when it is observed in India. Is it December 24th or December 25th? And now I found some information about how it is celebrated in India, like in different parts of India, being that India is such a large country. So in South India, one widespread Indian tradition, a Christmas tradition, is to put a burning earthen lamp on the roofs. So they will place a lamp on the roof, light it up because it's burning, of course. And this practice symbolizes that Jesus is the light of the world. Okay, I don't think this is something that I have seen in the States or in my country, but this is definitely a very nice or interesting way to celebrate it. Then in Northwest India, the Christians narrate the Christmas story and sing carols in their own dialects. And then in some areas of Southwest India, devotees go on a fast, so they also fast, just like in Ramsam, from December 1st until the midnight mass service on December 24th. Okay, and with this, we finish with Christmas, and now we are going to move on to our last celebration. Okay, and that celebration is Pongal. So Pongal is actually the only celebration that is not linked to religious. Okay, so it's not Hindu, it's not Muslim, and it's not Christian. This is a celebration in which everybody takes part in India. Okay, so I have two pictures here. The first one is Pongal, that is a dish, and I'm sure you are familiar with it more than I am. I do have to say that this is something I have tried and I love it. It's similar to something we have here, similar but different. I mean, like, I can establish a parallel, but it's definitely not the same. So it is similar because it is a rice pudding, and we also have rice pudding here, but you add some things that we don't have. Like, for example, I don't think I have tried rice pudding with nuts, but I have had Pongal in Indian restaurants, and it is served in that banana leaves. And the main reason behind Pongal is, of course, the harvest. That is the moment when farmers collect their crops. Okay, so Pongal is the main dish, it's a sweet dish, and the harvest is the reason of this celebration. Okay, so important. Pongal is celebrated on the first day of the month Thai of the Tamil calendar. Thai is the first month of the Tamil almanac or calendar, and Pongal is a sweet dish of I'm going to say that again. Pongal is a dish of sweet concoction of rice, mung dal, jaggery, and milk. Okay, that is, of course, the main dish of the celebration. The Tamil festival of Thai Pongal is a Thanksgiving ceremony in which farmers celebrate a successful harvest. Okay, so this is what they are doing. Farmers are celebrating the harvest. They are celebrating the fact that it was successful, and that is their role in their celebration. Now, what is the role of those who are not farmers? So the rest of the people celebrate the festival to pay their thanks to farmers for the production of food. We cannot live without food. We might not be farmers, but nobody can live without food. So if you are a farmer, or those who are farmers are celebrating the fact that they had a successful harvest, and the rest of the people who are not farmers and don't have an active role in the harvest are thanking the farmers for having produced the food that they are going to eat. Okay, so this is why this festival is so important, and it's because it encourages social cohesiveness and unites people over a common function. Okay, and that common function being food. Like, even in this is, as I was saying before, even if you are not taking an active role in participating in food production, you still have to thank those people who are doing that for you because you need them to survive. Okay? So on Thai Pongal, families begin the day early. They bathe, they wear new clothes, and they gather in front of the garden also known as Mutram, to cook the traditional Pongal. The front of the garden is decorated for this ceremonious cooking. This is a ceremony, okay? And of course, you know this more than me. So they decorate it for this. And a senior member of the family is the one that is conducting the cooking. Okay, so this person is the one in charge of the recipe, knowing how they do this and that, and everyone else in the family is assisting him or her. When the meal is ready, so when the Pongal, at this moment they are making or preparing the Pongal, so when the Pongal is ready, it is put on a banana leaves, as I showed you in the picture before, and the family prays for a few minutes to thank the spirit, the sun, and the farmers. So first they pray, then they eat. The meal, so the Pongal, is served with fruits such as banana and mango, and it is also shared with neighbors, friends, and family. This is very nice. I found it to be very nice and very interesting. Why? Because every household makes the food. So all the houses are making the Pongal, okay? But sharing each other's Pongal is one of the important features of the event. So even though they are all making their own Pongal, sharing is important for them. Okay, remember that as we talked, well, as I said before, this event, this festival celebrates social cohesiveness. Okay, and sharing is part of that. Farmers also show gratitude to the cattle, so to the cows, by bathing them and painting their horns with different colors. So they are painting their horns in red, blue, yellow, and green. The animals' foreheads are smeared with turmeric and kumkum, and their necks are adorned with colorful garlands. Puka is offered to them, and Pongal is given in plenty. This is called Matu Pongal. Okay, Matu Pongal. Pongal is an occasion for family reunion and get-togethers, and this is why I said that even though each household is making their own Pongal, sharing with the neighbors, it's important. Okay, and estrangements are healed. So if you have had issues with a neighbor or with a friend or with a relative, this is the moment to put an end to that. Okay. Thai Pongal is a festival of freedom, peace, unity, and compassion, crystallized in the last hymn of unity in the Indian spiritual text of Rig Veda. Love and peace are a central theme in Thai Pongal, and this is why any difference you might have with somebody you know, and somebody, especially somebody you care for, are healed at this moment. Okay, so with this we finish talking about Pongal, talking about Diwali, Ramsam, and Christmas, talking about holidays and festivals that are important in India. At this point, we are concluding our 5 days of English lessons. But before we leave, thank you very much again for your time, for joining me here day after day. And please let me know in the comments which of these celebrations, if any, you partake in, which one is your favorite, what things you didn't know about certain celebrations. If I made any mistake with the information, which I may have, please let me know in the comments as well. Thank you very much. And with this, we finish, you guys. Have a good rest of your day. And thank you again for having joined me during these 5 days. Bye-bye.